You are about to witness bodily dismemberment, sub-zero temperatures, and all-out mayhem. Brought to you by the Frontline Network.
Sup, COH fans, and welcome to episode 6 of Frontline Fatalities Season 3, brought to you by the Frontline Network, presented by me, FatalSaint, and my good friend Tommy. What's up, Tommy?
What's up, Fatal? We are here on longer once again, but this time we're going to be taking a look at the snowy version once again. We're back on Langrskaya Winter, where we're going to be seeing two fairly well-known players in the Code 2 scene going to be going up against each other. We have the high flyer Twister. He is going to be taking on the Russians, and who is he going to be playing against?
He will be playing against Paradox, who will be playing the Auster in this matchup on Langrskaya, and this is a game from the recent Langre tournament that was hosted not long ago. So without further ado, with that 5-second mark, you ready to go, Tommy?
I'm ready.
Unpause in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So let's see how it actually... Last game we casted on Langrskaya Winter, quite a front line that Spanky set up with all of his MGs and stuff. You know, it's Langre, MGs. It works.
Yeah,
and with Deep Snow, it
good.
really works, I guess.
Yeah, you got these really thick bands of deep snow, especially around here in this middle section, and over on the right, lots and lots of heavy snow, which makes flanking just that little bit more tricky. But of course, being a winter map, there are blizzards that come along every now and again, which allow you to, among other things, allow you to hide in deep snow as well, set ambushes and that kind of thing. So I think, in a lot of ways, I think the whole, you know, a lot of the new systems like True Sight in Coming of Heroes 2 actually make putting in the longer pin a lot harder. I think putting in a kind of 5-minute pin is sort of a bit of a flight of fancy here in Code 2. I don't think it would really work. It's just too different. But MGs remain as powerful as ever.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, the things you take up with the True Sight during blizzards, especially if you set up the MG where you kind of set it up in Vico, when the blizzard rolls in, you're not going to be able to see anything exiting the Russian base. So you can just walk right past your MG almost, because line of sight during a blizzard is so small, so tiny, that you're not even going to be able to see the enemies in the enemy base leaving. So he could like almost like straight up just, you know, walk on by your MG and you'll be none the wiser, and all of a sudden when the blizzard lifts, there's Russians everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah, easily.
So I guess, but at the same time, you know, it's very hard trying to flank something due to, you know, the slowdown with deep snow, for example. You're not going to get anywhere quickly when there's deep snow around. Just look at this MG right now out from Paradox. He went Grand MG and he's building his second Grand right now. Just look how slow you go in the deep snow. It's a nightmare trying to flank something when you're walking that slowly. But at the same time, it's a nightmare trying to avoid things like grenades as well.
Yeah, and particularly satchel charges and those kind of thrown big booms and bundle nades. They are really, really lethal in heavy snow, because if you don't retreat instantly, then you're going to be eating quite an explosive.
Yeah, especially with satchel charges at explosion radius. I think it's gotta be bigger than actually the animation lets you see. It just feels like everything gets obliterated whenever a satchel goes off. It's been killing quite a lot of stuff. You see certain players that mess around with penal battalions now and then using the satchel charges, and you know, you can get some real good money shots with them. First engagement here, first proper one, we had a little bit of a smaller, I think one bullet each was basically shot at each other from the conscripts in the building versus these grenadiers on the right hand side. But now it's two conscripts versus grenadiers, and this is kind of what you gotta do as Russians, because I feel at least that generally, you know, the grenadiers they just have the edge with their 1.5 armor. Even if they're down, you know, by 4 compared to 6 men, I still find them quite a bit stronger. So you gotta gang up on your opponent when you're playing as the Soviets. You know, two conscripts versus one Gren, I'll take that battle any day.
Yeah, it's an interesting engagement for Paradox here, for him to be taking this, because he is just going to lose manpower, and he's not actually really defending anything. He's not. It's not a very smart usage of his units, because he's not preventing a cap on anything. He's not really. I mean, I guess you could argue he's protecting a strategic point down there in the south, but otherwise not really doing a whole lot.
Well, if it was a fuel point, that's one thing, defending it, or at least stalling until other units can get up and basically support your grenadier, for example. So just staying in the capping circle so your fuel doesn't get cut off for a while. That's one thing.
Oh, and look at this. The MG got charged at point-blank range. This is the problem now, because he split up his grenadier and his MG, which meant that even though his MG took the cutoff, now he could actually lose his MG.
He's gonna get past it again, and he's doing quite a bit of health damage. There's still 4 men, but they've gone down to about 70% health, so he only needs a few nice kill crits with this conscript squad, and he just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. MG almost down to 50% health before he's forced to retreat, because that thing could have gone on for a little while longer, but that MG would have lost out in the end. So a good retreat from Paradox. There was nothing else he could do with that, you know. There was just no other way out of that situation. He had nothing in the vicinity either, apart from this Grenadier squad on the far right-hand side, now capping the fuel into the Germans' hands. But apart from that, he had no backup.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Paradox seems to be taking a sort of an interesting approach to his austere play, really spreading out his units a lot. Yeah. You know, he's got sort of Grenadiers all over the shop, which is, I don't know, so far it's allowed him to get decent map control, but that's now being taken back. And actually, he's losing out in terms of manpower by a fair amount, I'd say. So
he's lost a couple of Grens.
He's lost quite a few Grens, and he's taken health damage on that MG as well.
Oh, M3 out for Twister with a flamer
M3s.
in it. 2. Oh, there's a second one in the base now. We do have tier 2 up in the German base, however. He's not building anything. He can afford, you know, the German half-track, for example. He can go for the German scout car. I think he might be going for the scout car. As soon as he sees the M3s, he's gonna have to get some form of a counter to them. And generally, you know, the go-to counter, especially against M3s without guards in them, with flamers or snipers in them, is basically the German scout car upgun.
Yeah, I think when he sees that there are indeed 2 scout cars, getting a scout car of his own and upgunning it would be the selfish option. If there was only one, he could probably get away with just going straight to the flamer. But in this case, no, he's gonna want that upgun.
Yeah, if it's just one M3, you could probably just go with the Faust, for example, and if you have your German half-track out, you can reinforce, so even if the M3 basically kills one of the Grenadiers, you just reinforce it, and it kills another one, you reinforce it, and then you just wait for the Faust cooldown to be low enough, and you can Faust again. Yeah, I saw the one on the left-hand side getting taken out by these 2 Grenadiers. Twister basically failing a little bit on the micro aspect there. He was busy on the right-hand side, forcing off all of the German units, and, you know, even after killing that M3, both the Grenadiers actually retreated it, but there was nothing really in the vicinity. He could have gone for at least, you know, going for the decap on this far left-hand side strategic point, or even going for the cutoff. Not that Twister is actually sitting on a ton of territories right now. It has switched hand quite heavily in the German favor.
Yeah, it has indeed. We just have our first guard squad called onto the field as well. They are upgrading to DPs straight away. So Twister looking to give himself a bit of versatility with his unit here.
We do have the German scout car out from Paradox as well, but I think Twister is doing a good job with the territory harassment right now. He's taking basically all across the map. He's kind of establishing him a front line from the western fuel to the eastern fuel of the map. He's capping it all right now, including the 2 munitions points he's going to be in his possession very, very soon. Because after killing that M3, all of the Grenadiers on the left-hand side retreated back to base to reinforce, most likely. I think that was the thinking, the logic behind it at least. But at the same time, the M3, the surviving M3 on the right-hand side forced off everything else. So that means that, you know, Twister had maybe a full minute just capping around the map now.
Yeah,
undisturbed.
I can sort of see why this might happen, because, you know, earlier on, even though it looked like Paradox had a lot of map control and was doing quite well, you can see he can't keep up that amount of momentum forever.
Wow, what just killed that Combat Engineer squad? I think they were planting a mine that must have been detonated by the main gun on that German scout car. I'm not exactly sure. I just see 4 dead men, and there was nothing else in the vicinity. It could have been a rifle nade, I guess, but I actually didn't catch that.
No, I saw a fairly large explosion. Just caught a fairly large explosion.
Yeah, it must have been a mine that got detonated. Must have been. A pretty classic mine placement as well from both Vico and Couple of Heroes 2, especially if playing Soviets. That the Soviet T-35 mine, it's really good actually, as it gets detonated by infantry as well. So it's not like the Teller mine, for example, that only gets detonated by vehicles, but the Soviet mine does good damage to light vehicles and tanks as well.
So AT grenades are in, and down goes that scout car, leaving the M3 now unchallenged except for handheld AT in form of Fausts.
He has a Panzer Grenadier squad on the field, but he doesn't have enough munitions for the Shreks anyway, because he spent quite a lot of munitions upgunning that scout car that just went down. He might be able to polish off. A conscript squad goes down, so that's one combat engineer, a conscript, and one M3, compared to what I think is only that one German scout car that has gone down. So unit preservation-wise, I think Paradox is up by 1 or 2 almost. Now all of the map is basically switching hands once again. Massive map harassment game, I have to say, from both players. They're really, you know, basically trying to even out the resource incomes by just having the territories switch hands back and forth over and over again.
Yeah, it's a very territory-based game. I think this is sort of the old Vico mentality has sort of come back into play here more than anything else. You know, on the maps that people aren't really familiar with, it does become a little bit more of a slugfest. You know, me versus you. Let's hammer it out between each other. But on the maps where players really know all the little intricacies, like these ones that they've been playing for so many years, you can see they know what they want to do.
Yeah, they have a set plan in motion generally. Soviets aren't Americans, and you know, Germans in Couple of Heroes 2 is not exactly the same as Wehrmacht from Couple of Heroes 1, for example. So you know, it's kind of a mix of PE and Wehrmacht. I don't know. They got scout cars and stuff going on. But you know, obviously they have. I think just going for 1 MG on this map, you know, at least you gotta have the 1 MG. You gotta have some form of blob control. But I think it's completely legit going for 2 MGs on long rest in Couple of Heroes 2 and Couple of Heroes 1 as well.
Well, coming up here as 1, you'd be mad not to go for 2 MGs, because
yeah.
2 MGs was just it was just so good. There was very little reason not to. But the dynamics of the map are a little different, and particularly on the winter version, obviously you got blizzards and heavy snow playing a big part there as well.
Oh, this Panzer Grenadier squad capping the VP and North gets taken out by a Soviet male sniper team now running onto the field with that white camo clothing. And they managed to get a very worthy kill very early. They have 2 kills, and both of them Panzer Grenadier squads, which resulted in an entire squad wipeout, which is a very, very good victory for Twister. He's equalizing now on the unit preservation.
Now Soviet Sniper's probably going to be making a nuisance of himself from this point on, especially with such a huge sort of infantry-based army from Paradox. He has just, I see, put up his tier 3 building though, so hopefully we'll be seeing some, I don't know, some Oswins would go quite nicely against the current unit composition from Twister here. He's not made any attempt to tech past tier 1 yet, so
he's gonna have to do something
really
soon.
Catch him with his pants down.
Yeah, P4 is gonna be the choice for Paradox, which is basically the generic choice from tier 3. Is going for the P4 because you got some anti-infantry capabilities. You got some pretty good AT capabilities. Actually, the P4 is really good AT. And you know, the Ostwind offers you light AT at best. They can tango with something like a medium tank, like a T-34. They're not gonna win outright, especially not on the frontal armor. But obviously, you know, if it's gonna be a 1 versus 1 battle, a T-34 will most likely win against, you know, unvetted Ostwind. But they can actually penetrate the T-34s on the rear armor and stuff, and even on the frontal armors now and then, but it's not really an AT unit. So he's gonna go for the P4. He's seen tier 1, and generally Soviet players will go tier 1, tier 4.
Oh, that's another unit down.
Oh, he lost the Gren?
You know, he lost the Pioneer there on the right-hand side, and dropped a Flamer, which is greedily snatched up by some conscripts there.
Oh yeah, see, he's got a flamer now. Vet 2 conscripts as well with a flamethrower.
Oh, it's P4 coming in for a squish.
Oh, wow. That was actually not a squish, that was a retreat, but he managed to kill 2 guys because they were clumped up on retreat. trying to avoid the threats of the P4 in the deep snow, so they got extremely clumped up, and he got 2 kills in 1 shot, and he even drops a PTRS rifle, but he doesn't actually decide to pick it up with his grenadiers, and he has gotten some G43s on only 1 squad so far. He's got Vet 1 on all his 3 grenadier squads. I think it's still all his 3 initial ones. He's lost the Pio, the scout car, and 1 P-Gren squad so far. Compared to Twister's, what was it? M3, Combat Engineer, and Conscript, I think?
Yes, he did lose Conscript.
Did he rebuild the Combat Engineer, or did he go for a 3 Conscript, 2 Combat Engineer build? Or
he did recently rebuild his Combat Engineer, yeah.
He needs it for that M3 clown car, which is now actually a sniper car. And he might actually be able to get a kill on this Grenadier squad if Paradox doesn't decide to retreat soon. I think he's busy actually microing his P4. He didn't get 18-8, chased off the Conscript in the center, and the Grenadier squad retreats at 1 man. Vet 2, the M3 is in hot pursuit. The sniper misses on retreat, I believe, as they get actually an accuracy penalty as long as the M3 is on the move. Oh, here we go, and it's gonna be an 18-8 thrown on that P4 in the center, damaged engine. But so far, I still don't see any AT capabilities from Twister apart from that guard squad on 18-8s. He's got his, is that tier 4 in the base?
He has got his tier 4 building up, yep. But
Does he have enough fuel?
Yes. No, he doesn't have enough fuel, not quite yet. He's sitting on a 104 and he needs 115 for the Su-85.
So not far away. I guess he's got an income of roughly 20 or something right now. He's got a right hand
26.
Fuel, 26. So he's gonna have to wait half a minute for that fuel income to come in. Right now he's trying to combat this MG in the center. He did a nice, you know, flank-ish attempt with his conscripts using to hit the dirt to try and defend and try to stay on the field for as long as possible. Oh, nice double kill from the P4. This conscript squad just keeps laying in the deep snow. He forces off that MG in the center, and now there's 2 Grenadier squads, 1 with G43s moving out, and he actually dropped that PTRS rifle. Is that the same that's been laying there for an entire match since the guard squad dropped it? I'm not sure. G43 equipped Vet 2 Grenadier squad on the left-hand side against this combat
hell of a
engineer.
crit.
Yeah, he had quite a lot of health, and then suddenly he had no health. That was a massive crit, I have to say. We have actually munitions OP outside of the German base as well. Paradox is actually floating quite a bit of resources right now. He's up to 500 plus manpower and almost 115 fuel in the bank. So he could get another P4 or get an Oswin, for example, if he wanted to. Or keep taking. I'm not sure. He must be expecting that as long as Twister is in possession of the right-hand side fuel, there's gonna be something in the form of armor from Twister, and that's on the field now, I see.
Yep, the SU is on the field, takes his first big shot at that P4. Yeah, it's gonna send him retreating backwards now. He needs to get the hell out of there.
He needs to get on the road bonus. Getting some nice frontal penetrations with the P4, but it's extremely low health. He gets Vet 1 from dealing and receiving damage, and gets the Su-85 fausted. So that means he's not going to be able to pursue it, especially not when the P4 uses its Vet 1 ability, Blitzkrieg, to reverse back into the German base. Nicely driven there. Tank driver Hans, I'm not exactly sure. Fritz.
Yeah,
That's
very
Fritz.
Smooth. I suspect the old reverse button might have been used.
I think so too, So, here's another Blizzard now. It's going to let Twister actually move outside of his base now, as that P4 completely retreated off the field into the German base to get repaired. But the Pio, the only Pio squad on the field, is on the farther right-hand side, capping against this M3. It's going to be forced off due to the snipers in the M3 from Twister, and he's building a secondary Pio squad now, actually. What do you think about repair bunkers? Getting them back in Company of Heroes 2. I'm not exactly sure. I kind of like them, but at the same time, I don't know.
Well, I suspect they'll be used about as often as they were used in Company of Heroes 1, which was not that often, but not totally scarce either. You know, if you do have more than one tank, it's generally useful. If for nothing else, then it means you don't have to worry about the micro of having to keep on telling your pioneers where to go.
Yeah, it does let you focus more on microing other units instead of microing your Pios to repair and stuff. So, you know, just getting that repair bunker. At the same time, I know a few people thought it. Always thought that stuff like medic bunkers, you know, shooting out zombie grenadiers and repair bunkers, you know, that it gave an unfair advantage to the Wehrmacht. I'm not exactly sure if I actually agree with that. I don't think so. You still have to pay for it. Very static
certainly they went
placement.
through a lot of changes, you know, throughout the game's life cycle. But by 2.602, I don't think so. You know, the balance was pretty fine, to be honest, by the final patch, and by the patch that's still in play now. You know, the balance was pretty good.
Is that a new P4? This is a new P4. One shot takes out the M3. Yeah, this is a new
wasn't expecting
P4.
that.
No, the sniper was kind of lucky. 25% chance at destruction for units in garrison to actually die as well. So he lost 1 out of 2-man sniper team. So it was close. 50% chance, I think. So losing both is a 25% chance, I guess.
I think these grenadiers have been taking too much catnip. They seem to be trying to chase after an Su-85.
I think they were chasing up the engineers repairing, but I'm not sure. Either way, they got some of those combat drugs that were handed out during World War II sometimes.
Oh yeah, the what was it, like Pervitin pills?
Yeah. Vet 3 now, all of the grenadiers are doing very well for Paradox actually. He's got quite a lot of veterancy right now. I see the conscripts are somewhat good at veterancy as well. How is his army looking like in veterancy?
Across the board, generally good. He's got all of his conscripts are at least Vet 1. One of them is Vet 2, and one of his snipers is Vet 2 as well.
That's pretty good actually.
Wow, there's another Vet 3 Gren. Yeah, Paradox doing a really good job with his.
Oh, but he lost one Vet 3 Gren to something. What just killed him? I'm not exactly sure where he died. Was that at the cutoff or? Did he freeze to death during the blizzard? I'm not exactly sure. I just saw him vanish from my screen, the unit shield. All of a sudden he's down to 2 grenadiers, 1 Vet 3 and 1 Vet 2. He had another Vet 3 squad. Where?
Oh no, yeah, there was another Vet 3 squad. Oh, that's going to be a real bummer.
Oh, he might lose another one to these Soviet snipers. He's not going to get the decap. He's going to safely retreat away.
Oh wow,
instead.
this P4 is going to go down, surely.
Oh wow, main gun gone, abandoned however. Let's see if he's gonna try and recruit it instantly. He's not gonna
rifle
get
nade grenades! Rifle nade on the snipers! Oh, and he kills one of them!
That was a nice kill for that Grenadier squad. He needed that because double snipers is terrifying to play against. It's extremely hard to counter them, especially when they have guards as backup. So even if you get something like, you know, a Flammenwerfer or a scout car, for example, it's just going to get destroyed by the PTRS rifles, or at least buttoned. Especially with Su-85 backup as well. It's very, very hard to get at those snipers. So a nicely placed rifle nade is sometimes your best bet. Not much. Not much. Oh, nice guard grenade. Did nothing. That was lackluster.
Unfortunate guard grenade.
It was nicely placed. It looked like it was nicely placed, but it's really hard to see where the actual grenade is. You can see the timer quite clearly, but in deep snow, the grenade just vanishes. We have another P4 on the field now, so he just keeps churning out P4s. What else do you need than MGs, Grenadiers with Vet 3 and P4s?
Indeed. Well, I would say that the combo of Su-85s and snipers will beat that.
I think so too, yeah. Well, the Su-85 hard counters the P4s.
And snipers hard counter the grenadiers. But there is only one sniper now, it's not snipers plural, so...
That's true, that's true. This P4 is just taking a beating. He's going to be forced to reverse the way. And as long as this SU actually has sniper backup and some conscripts around as well, it's going to be really hard to get at it, especially if the conscripts throw, you know, if he's going to go for an all-in move against this Su-85, because there's still only one on the field, and there's 2 P4s on the field again, so he could potentially just rush it. But if you get 18-aided or buttoned by the guards, you're not going to be able to circle strafe nothing.
Oh, this is Paradox attempt to counter the Su-85. He brought a pack to the field. Got one nice hit off on the Su-85.
Not a bad counter.
Well, the thing is, as long as the sniper's around, I think he needs a counter sniper. I think he needs to try and scare away the Soviet sniper, at least with having another sniper on the field. Just the very fact that you have a sniper of your own will force your opponent to use his a lot more carefully without so much reckless abandon, which is what we've seen sort of Twister using his snipers, you know, not even cloaked at the moment.
It's really, really hard getting the counter snipe with a German sniper against the Soviet double snipers, however. You really got to fish for it. You got to fish for it for a long time sometimes.
Yeah, you've got to be in green cover so that you can cloak fast enough, and you got to be very quick on your thing. But I think just the impact of having a sniper, even if he isn't trying to fish for the counter snipe, would do a lot of good.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible idea. You generally don't really see that many German snipers. Obviously, most people kind of think like me, I guess. This is a bit too hard. I'm gonna try to do something else. But okay, fine. But then actually do something else. Don't just sit there and take sniper bullets, just eating them all day long. That's not gonna work. And there goes the Gren on retreat.
Of eating sniper bullets.
Now there's 2 snipers on the field again. This is going to be the bane of the German army. Not exactly sure if he's gonna get out of this now.
Oh, rifle grenade on the Southern VP, nicely dodged, very easily.
Gonna use hit the dirt as
well,
well,
nice
try and
use
stall.
dirt. Yeah, he's gonna rip these unvetted Grens to shreds.
Because look at the VP situation. I haven't even been paying attention to VPs at all, because it just felt like in the initial stages of the games it was anybody's game, and then Paradox had quite a firm grip of the map, and then these snipers now are starting to work and chip away on the German army, and now all of a sudden I see that Twister is almost down to 100 VPs. 118 remains when Paradox has over 450 left. That's not a few VPs difference, that's a massive difference.
It is a pretty huge difference. I mean, the pressure is on Twister, but he is beginning to really come into his own now. Oh. And I think the main reason, more than anything else, is just this SU-85. And I'm trying to think back through our latest casts, and I'm trying to think of where we actually seen SU-85s die. And
well,
it just
they die
doesn't
sometimes.
happen.
Sometimes, but not that often. No, it's so hard to get at them.
So rarely. If they do die, it's because they get a damaged engine and then they get ganked by, 3 or 4 other tanks. But they do seem to require a lot more to kill than...
It's the range. It's too hard to get at them. They're too far away from you. That's the problem I see, at least. When you had tank destroyers in VCO, you had like the M10s, for example. There was no problem getting at the M10s because the M10s wouldn't want anything apart from getting at you.
Like a stug on crack.
Yeah, super stuck. Oh, he might go for a squish on the snipers. It could have done, but he gets 18-aided. But even though he's 18-aided, he's still got his Blitzkrieg ability activated. And this SU-85 now might be in trouble. I guess that's how you do it.
That is how you do it, I guess. So, but it was snipers. Just like I said, wasn't it? It gets damaged engine, and then a bunch of tanks come and gank it.
Well, I don't think the SU-85 was damaged, actually, because there were no Grenadiers in the vicinity to actually faust it. He just went right for it. But now, here's the problem. The second SU-85 on the field, and now he's overextended as well. His first P4 with Vet 2 now, after killing that first SU-85, has a damaged engine. He's not going to be able to reverse away from this SU-85 if it actually pursues it, because there's not that much in the form of reinforcements from the Germans. He's got a Flamer Pio, sure, that's going to be able to handle this guard squad perhaps for a little while, but this SU-85 has no problem pursuing this P4 right now. Might get fausted now though. It was a nice attack from Paradox, but badly timed. He couldn't have possibly known that there was a second SU-85 just hitting the field at the same time.
No, and without that second SU-85, things might have gone a lot differently. But I think he may have actually just thrown his last cards away now.
Yeah, might be so. He's got some territory still in possession. He's trying to extend onto the center as well, but both of the Soviet snipers still alive.
5 minutes time from now, I think he's going to have lost any gains that he made in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, he's got a new P4 now, hitting the field again, but his first P4 Vet 2 that actually survived due to getting the SU-85 fausted by a Grenadier squad. He managed to retreat out of there. He's capping with his MG on the far left-hand side. There's not much he can do with it in the center due to these double snipers anyways. Down to 1 Gren on retreat. Snipers taking an aim and a bullet in the face of Fritz. So Pio and a new Gren for Paradox. But now he's basically out of manpower again. So he's going to have to wait to build any additional units. And losing that Grenadier squad on retreat means that he's left with his Vet 2 MG, which is pretty good actually. Vet 2 MG, not bad. But he can't really do much against snipers, and not against flanking conscripts with hit the dirt either.
No, I don't think there's much Paradox he's going to be able to do now. He is he's down the creek without a paddle. He's keeping on pumping out the P4s, but All Twister has to do is keep on pumping out the SU-85s.
Exactly. They will counter the P4s. It doesn't matter how many P4s he keeps building. It's not gonna make a difference. And as I believe that Paradox went with joined. No, he went with the. It's not the. It's the Jaeger infantry with the cloak G43s and the off maps. He has no super tank. He doesn't have the elephant, for example.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
Because the elephant kind of really works. That's basically the hard counter to the SU-85s, because it basically outranges it and kills it in 2 shots, I think, or crits it at least in 2 shots, which is insane.
Yes.
It's extremely slow, but on a fairly small map like Longred, there's no problem. I think you can fire across the whole map almost.
See snipers moving around, skulking around in the snow on attack move though. 2 shots, see a Grenadier halved.
Wow! Nice G43 hit on one of the sniper scouts, but he's gonna have to retreat this Gren squad. Bet1, why are you staying around with 1-man squad against snipers? That's not gonna work. There we go, he finally retreats. That was risky at best. Bet1 sniper team retreats back to base after actually losing 1 squad member to the G43 equipped Grenadiers. They're not too bad, these G43s. They do fairly good against M3s, for example. I'm not exactly sure of the stats.
Now we've seen them do very well in all the games that we've seen them. We've seen them perform quite well.
They need to implement G43s in some future commander with some other nice stuff. You know, like
oh wow, look at
like
that! They executed another member of the sniper team.
Yeah, it happens now and then.
From long range, just get those nasty crits.
Well, Soviet sniper is extremely fragile, so is the German sniper, but I guess the G43s just do some fairly good damage. But he's leaving his base with under-strength squads. That must have been a misclick, not reinforcing that first Grenadier squad retreating back to base. He's building an additional Grenadier squad right now, but I see that the second Su-85 has hit the field, so even though oh, he added on. I think he still only expects 1 Su-85. The second one hasn't revealed itself. It's not gonna either, as far as I know, because there's not really anything for it to shoot on. But he went with an Ostwind instead of a third P4. If he could have gone 3 versus 2, there might have been a chance.
Ostwind. Why? Why?
I think he expected his Vet 2 P4 plus his vanilla P4 to beat out 1 Su-85 and then bring in the Ostwind to mop up. Here comes the armor push now from the German player. This is make or break, I think. If he doesn't break the Soviet stronghold in the center now, it's over. And now he's gonna be very, very sad seeing 2 SUs, I think. This is not fun at all. I wasn't expecting 2, I was expecting 1. There we go.
That Ostwind didn't live very long.
Stolen pack as well.
He does have the Vet 2 P4 right up in the rear, but I don't know if he's going to do the damage.
It's not going to be fast enough against 2 Su-85s. It's too little. The P4 is really good. It's actually pretty decent at AT. But there's a stolen pack as well. Possibility of we could get country squad come up here and actually 18A the P4 to slow it down. That pack doing a real number. Stolen weaponry.
Oh, he doesn't even get the other Su-85. That's
too bad. He gets a Faust off on that Vet 2 Su-85, and there's 2 Gren squad now. Actually might be able to decrew this pack, but it's not like it's gonna make a difference, I think. It's got an MG in the center, suppressing and pinning 1 conscript squad. At the same time, Guard squad Vet 2 has harassed the southern VP, because Twister is actually down to 100 VPs now. Did he Faust the second one? Was that a Faust to kill it? Must have been a
yeah,
Faust.
I think that was a Faust, yeah. But it's small consolation, really. I think Paradox is, I mean, he just threw all his cards into the ring there. I'd be amazed if he is anything left in the tank now. And his Vet 2 MG now getting flanked and naded.
Oh, nice nade. This time it was bang on center, yeah. That was in the middle of the whole squad. He's extremely low health. 1 man remains. DP's opens up on him on retreat and negative cover, but he manages to get around the hedge. Doesn't matter, however. 88 fuel in the bank. He's gonna lose map control after being completely forced off, so he just throws in the towel instead.
I feel bad for Paradox. I feel like he played, I don't know, a weird strategy early on. I think he could have played that a lot more solidly. But regardless, it still seemed to work out. By the mid game, he was looking really strong.
Yeah.
But then those Su-85s, they come along, and the snipers come along. We've seen all too many games where Su-85s and snipers seem to be bringing it home for the Soviets.
Yeah, they are basically the go-to unit for the Soviets right now. It might be a combination of several things. They find T-34s too lackluster, so I have to get Tier 4 for Su-85s because there's just no other way. I need snipers because after a while the German infantry will just rip me to shreds, especially if they get G43s. That doesn't happen too often. Most people will choose a doctrine which has a super tank, like a Tiger or an Elephant, for example. But some people go for Jaeger infantry, like Paradox did in this game, and get G43s. Otherwise, they'll just get LMGs, which works just as great, because they mince everything in the Soviet arsenal when it comes to anti-infantry.
Yeah, it's
so it's kind of like they're funneled into going for snipers and Su-85s, and the snipers and the Su-85s just kind of counter the things that the Germans really wants to go for. Heavily upgraded infantry like Panzer Grenadiers and Grenadiers with LMGs or G43s, for example, and they want to go for the strong P4s, so they get the SU to counter that, blah 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 blah. It just happens every game because I don't know which faction is at fault. Is it because the Germans just always build the same stuff? They always go for the P4, no one ever goes for anything else? Or is it because the Soviets always goes for this, that, and that, so the Germans go for this and that, and then they go for that, and then the metagame never changes?
Well, with the rate that the patches are coming in these days, I'm sure things are about to get shaken up once again. Hopefully for the better. So we will probably see many more changes, especially by the time that you're watching this, which will be in a couple of weeks' time, as we're recording this on the 9th of August. Probably will have been another patch released by then, to be honest.
Maybe.
So what you'll probably be seeing is maybe a little different from what you're playing. But do leave us a comment, leave us your thoughts on the new map, Langra, leave us your thoughts about Su-85s and snipers. What do you think? Are they too powerful? Is it just the German players' fault for not building anything else? Do let us know. Share it on Facebook and Twitter. Tell your friends, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.